Ha! What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 82 of Breaking the Banks. And in this 82nd episode, we're going to be talking about
Planet of the Apes
franchise,
series, what have you.
Somebody's very enthusiastic, but that's okay. That's what we want on this channel. Enthusiasm.
I am MademB. I'm off camera, but hi.
And this is your boy Narik Chase, and we're going to go ahead and do this like we always do. Fortunately, this is going to be an impromptu video, so Ken's not going to be here with us, but that's all right. MademB is here, and we're going to have just as much fun. All right, now we're going to be shooting 2 videos. The first video is just we're going to be talking about the movies, the ones we've seen, like possibly which ones are the best, as far as rank-wise, story-wise, what have you, and what they probably could have did better with them. And in the second half, we're going to be coming up with ideas and topics such as favorite characters, the most unfortunate deaths, the best stories, when it comes to like the original series versus the new series, the characters. We're just going to go into depth about all of that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the Planet of the Apes franchise has been going on since about the 60s. The first movie was in 1968. And the basic premise of the Planet of the Apes franchise is a world where we have humans and intelligent apes who are just warned for control. And it comes in various levels, whether it's in the future or in the present. So that's pretty much the gist of what the Planet of the Apes franchise is. Now, there were the originals that came out back in the day, ranging from the 68 to 73. There was a 2001 reboot, and then they rebooted the series again in 2011, with the most recent one being 2017. So that gives us a total of about 8 movies in all. So, your initial thoughts about the Planet of the Apes movies?
Initial thoughts,
did you like the idea? Did you like which movie did you think was like when we was watching Planet of the Apes? You know, I was like, okay, the movie ain't that bad. You know, still kind of hold up. I mean, yes, the practical effects and makeup effects aren't as impressive.
Well, if you're talking about, you know, back in the old days, okay, back in the 60s, but it kind of shot it like it was, you know, maybe they moved up some years, like maybe 2048. I don't know, the way their systems was. You know, how they had it in the... Okay, you know how, like on a movie, the... What do you call it? The background, it looked different from, like, how it's supposed to be in the 60s, but it's not. Like it takes place, like, in... You know what I'm talking about.
You lost me, really did.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to start over. Okay, I think I only saw the first 2 of the old ones.
Yeah.
I did like it. So it's kind of backwards from the new ones. They kind of went backwards. So it was nice. It was sort of funny, you know, the way
now, with the movies, the old movies are, you know, kind of like back in the day when they came up with ideas, and then the movies just get more ridiculous. As we were sitting with Jason, the ideas started getting ridiculous and inconsistent, and then Freddy Krueger, and it's like all those movies that started back at a certain point, they just started the more sequels popped out, the more ridiculous it got. I think that's kind of what Planet of the Apes kind of went in a direction too, because they had interesting ideas. I mean, the first Planet of the Apes, I guess you could say, is probably the best. I mean, there was some things about it I didn't like, but there was a lot of okay. I'm so sorry. Just got to work. Like one of the things I didn't like how people couldn't talk, and they didn't really have a reason why.
Right.
And even if they're people, so they still should be intelligent, but they really weren't.
I told you it was backwards. You know how animals can't talk, so according to them, they're nothing but a bunch of animals.
And they never explained how basically humans devolved, but the apes evolved.
See, like I said, that's what I was trying to explain. I kind of got a little messed up. You know, it took, the movie was shot in the 60s, but, how it took place is like, okay, the human race fell, and then, the animals, the apes evolved. So they were like, much more machinery, but the way they kept them, how they wore what the humans wore, it'll be like, what the animals wear, skin.
That's one thing I didn't like about those movies, because whereas intelligent as they weren't intelligent. They weren't advanced. So I'm like, they were talking about how the humans were like savages and stuff. I'm like, no, y'all are like 2 steps from that. I mean, y'all don't have machines. Y'all ride horses. The guns that y'all had were primitive and stuff. Like if you sit there, even the clothing and stuff, like, you mean they were more advanced than the people were, but at the same time, it's like, not really.
I mean, if you actually, of course, took a closer look at the guns, you would saw they didn't have any triggers.
No, we ain't gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that in the next one. But as far as the story, the first Planet of the Apes follows this astronaut who ends up crash landing on this planet and discovering that not only are the humans stupid and can't talk.
Well, it was 3.
It was 3 of them. 3.
And one of them.
It was 3 of them, and they all find out that humans are idiots and the apes are smart. And it's basically them trying to, well, I ain't gonna say them, because one guy got shot and the other one got lobotomized.
Like, they managed to go 2 millennia into the
future.
Yeah, like, goodness, I can see why they slept that long. I mean, it's kind of didn't make no sense, really. Like, it was 2,000 years.
I guess so. Yeah, 2 millennia. That's what, 200 years. People still will be talking. Like, they never gave a reason.
Okay.
A millennia is 200 years. Right? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is it?
Hold on, I gotta look that up. I don't know why I'm getting confused. A millennia. But anyways, so the main character is this astronaut named Landon, and now he's trying to escape from the Planet of the Apes. Oh, 1,000 years. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so 2,000 years.
They still be talking, because think about it. How long has humanity been on this planet? And we've talked. We've had different languages, and it's evolved, but we still.
Yeah, it evolved from all that.
It evolved from what Planet Apes? Yeah. And all that good stuff. But the first movie was pretty good. He was trying to escape these apes and trying to get back home, and of course, he's on. The planet's pretty primitive, but at the end of the movie, he ends up finding out that this ain't a new planet. It's Earth. It's just like 2,000 years in the future. After humanity blew the planet up, basically.
Yeah, which is, so they kind of,
I guess you could say nuclear fallout is how they evolved.
Like I said, some of it was backwards and some of it went sort of forward, because they didn't give us to why the planet dissolved or all that.
And then the second movie, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, it follows a different set of astronauts. One guy dies pretty much as soon as they get there, and then the other guy finds the Nova chick from the first movie, and they're both looking for Landon from the first movie, and they end up discovering that there's this race of mutated humans that live beneath the Earth's surface, the planet's surface. And as a side story of what's going on, there's this gorilla that's trying to invade these mutant humans' place that they vaguely have any information on.
Okay, it's like, okay, what was Maurice? Hold on, what was the doctor's name that he knew? It like he knew everything. He knew all of it.
You talking about the orangutan, Zayas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he knew all of it. It's like he knew they were down there, and you know he knew what happened to the planet. He just didn't want to. He didn't really say.
I mean, the movies, for like I said, it's interesting. They all, they just kind of like, okay, Zayas knew about how humans were dangerous, knew about humanity, which by this point I don't see how they could keep that kind of record system for 2,000 years. Especially how primitive their lifestyle is. Mm-hmm. It's like, how did 2,000 years, your record system would be crap right now. But hey, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Also, with on the side story that's going on in the first movie, there are a pair of apes that are helping the human Landon, and they're Zira and Cornelius. Mm-hmm. And I love Zira, and I like Cornelius is kind of a simp, but Zira's pretty cool because she's like aggressive. But that was basically the premises of the first two movies. Some guys land on the planet, find out it's run by apes, and they're trying to get off of it.
Yeah, basically.
We have Escape from the Planet of Apes, which is one of those movies that doesn't really make sense. It's an interesting premise, but it doesn't make sense. What happens is Zira and Cornelius somehow escape from the planet before the destruction of it at the end of the second movie. And they manage to come to Earth. Like, current time Earth. They repaired Taylor's spaceship. But they didn't have that type of technology.
And also, okay, it was in the first one, it was what, ripped?
Ripped?
The spaceship.
I thought the spaceship was underwater.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it was underwater.
So, okay.
Unless they got Taylor's, but then again, not Taylor, the other guy.
Uh-huh.
But then again, they didn't have time. Even if they had time, they don't got that kind of that scientific know-how.
Right, because, okay, the bomb went off at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't that have killed
everything? They said it was a planet killer. But I'm like, we don't have that type of technology now. Yeah, we got nuclear bombs, but one bomb can't take out the whole planet. At least, not that I've heard of.
Okay. Okay, they said it ended with the future being destroyed by a nuclear weapon, which was the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And they picked that old-time bomb, like the kind you see on Bugs Bunny. Yeah, they picked that type.
So, okay, you're right. If it was destroyed, they didn't have time to salvage and repair the ship. And okay, they said a time warp.
That's the same thing the people came through.
But they were asleep. They didn't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, that's the inconsistency of it. It was an interesting movie because Cornelius and Zira were now in on Earth, and they were kind of celebrities, but they were kind of freaks too. I mean, if you think about it, like they're kind of freaks because they're the only two talking apes on the whole planet Earth.
Okay.
And you know how people are.
And then, of course, Zera's pregnant. She was pregnant in the second one because she was talking about her little ape baby.
Oh yeah. She did say that. She did say that. Now I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like the ending of this one because it was sad because of what happened. And you gonna sit there and gonna look. You gonna sit there and look.
What do you expect me to do? We're talking about it.
Fine. Look at read this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
The humans got pretty much killed them. And I'm like, of all the characters, they were like the coolest. I'm like, why?
Okay, those were the only apes on the planet, in there, and they killed them.
The only apes that could talk.
Yeah.
It's only smart ones, yeah. But the reason why is because they found out what happens in the future.
Okay.
They found out that apes rise to power. So to try to get rid of that, kill them.
Okay, but of course, they said Zera switched babies.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't her baby that she tossed over there.
But guess who is the is that? Milo.
Yeah, so they named the baby Milo.
I thought they named him Caesar. Huh. Maybe he changed his name. I don't know. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, who was the most high they were talking about? Who was the ape that they were praising? You said it was Caesar.
But you got to think about it. They went through a time loop. So the first ape would be...
Okay.
That's why I'm like, Milo, why they call him Milo? I think in the next movie they call him Caesar.
Okay.
But that's what happened in that one. Then we have the one called Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, apes are smarter now, but they enslaved. Yep, Caesar. They changed the name to Caesar.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in this one, Caesar now is in a society where humans rule apes, use apes as slaves, and like it was stupid. They had apes in jumpsuits, like delivering people water like housemaids and stuff. I'm like, that does not make any sense. But okay, it was the 70s, so they went kooky with the idea. And of course, him being the son of Cornelius and Zera, him being intelligent, and him seeing how humanity were treating apes,
Mm-hmm.
eventually led to what we would consider a revolution. Now, I will not lie, it was stupid. It didn't make any sense. And whoever thought of that probably shouldn't have never worked in the movie business again. But it was really entertaining.
Well, I didn't see it, so I'll let you. I'll give my little 2 cents on what I read, but I didn't. From the second one, and that was it. My bad.
Yeah, because he was a circus. He was a circus ape, and then it started coming into question. Could he possibly be the son of Cornelius and Zera?
So how did it come into question?
I was about to say it made no sense how they started thinking that. The inspector guy started thinking it for some reason. I don't know why. But that's basically what it was. It was an interesting movie. It was pretty cool. But this the part that didn't make any sense. Like all of these apes, everybody had apes doing their work. They're doing like maid and servant jobs. I'm like, really? Like the simplest things: sweeping floors, bringing food to the table, like crap like that. I'm like, that does not make any sense.
Maybe they thought that because Caesar spoke, but they thought it was somebody else. But maybe that's what they thought, that he was maybe.
I think he did speak.
Yeah,
remember.
He said lousy human bastards because he saw what they were doing to the other apes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe that's why. And then it was like people got it was like, did he speak? And then somebody said, no, it wasn't him, it was me. So okay, maybe that was how.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry. Let me go ahead and retract that. It didn't make sense as to how they suspected it was him. Okay, never mind. Next page. But the dude, McDonald, the dude that was his friend, was pretty cool. I did like his character, but we're not getting into that yet. So the final movie of the original trilogy of movies is Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I saw about half of this movie, and it deals with Caesar now in charge of the apes after humanity done. I don't know what the hell happened. I think it was a nuclear holocaust, but I'm like, why was there a nuclear holocaust? And it basically, Caesar is trying to rule the apes peacefully, and you have a faction of apes that want to just go outright and just kill humans, as well as a faction of humans that just want to outright go out and kill apes. And Caesar is trying to learn about his parents.
Okay.
And it's from what I've seen about half of it. It was interesting. It was an interesting idea. I seen it where they went to the ruins to find this tape of when his parents were on Earth, and that's about all I got into it. But I did like how he kind of reversed the roles. With him saying that apes are above humans, but humans aren't slaves, or something like that. And then that's when they started saying apes should not kill apes.
Mm-hmm. Apes together, strong.
Yeah, strong. And I'm all off camera. I'm like doing it over here, like I'm doing the Cabbage Patch. But yeah, that's basically what happened in that movie. And of course, the apes have to deal with the apes that are douchebags and have to deal with the humans that are douchebags. But the movie does leave off on a good note. And how do I know this? Because I read it on Wikipedia. I had to keep up with the other half that I missed.
Okay.
So I might go back and watch that.
Anyway, all of the movies back in them, they seem to do pretty good in the box office. What their budget was and what they did make, considering that. So kudos.
But look at the budget.
I know.
Yeah, like $1 million.
Like here, do what you can with that. Sorry.
Then they rebooted. I mean, they had a series. I didn't see the series. Not talking about the series, but we're gonna go back to the 2001 reboot, which I think that was the year.
The reboots.
Yeah, the reboots. And in this reboot, we have a different origin story. Mark Wahlberg is an astronaut that was in space, went looking for a chimp that went missing during a space mission. They went to this storm, and he crash lands on the planet Apes. Okay, and this one, this apes are running things, and they did a great job of making a society for the apes. Like when I say society, like they weren't advanced, but they actually had their own cultures. Like they had games, they had food, they had like what happens when you die. Like they actually built a culture around. Like they all had, in this one, they had clothes, different clothes.
I saw like some of that.
Yeah.
Like, back in the, but I can't hardly remember. But yeah, I do remember some of that.
Yeah, and in terms of actual detail of an evolved ape species over time, this movie did it better. But we're not yet. We're not gonna make no compare and contrast yet. But Mark Wahlberg is trying to find his way off the planet. Finds out everything's what the hell. Humans, at least they can talk on this one, and they're smart, sort of. And then he ends up finding out that, hey, the people that his space crew that he thought lost him are on the planet, so he's going to go meet them, and with the help of certain humans as well as certain apes, they go find the spaceship, which he ends up finding out is crash landed and is in ruins for about 1,000 years. And then he ends up finding out that the reason why the ship is why everything is the way it is that planet was a livable planet, but I guess nothing was on it. And when his crew went to go look for him when he disappeared in that space storm or whatever it was, the ship crashed on the planet. Something about the planet evolved the apes, and then the apes revolted against the humans.
Okay.
So that's their origin story for that movie, which I actually thought was pretty cool. I still say the first set of movies didn't really give a decent reason as to why. But in that movie, that was pretty cool. And another thing I did like about that movie, they were physically like stronger. Mm-hmm. I loved how they did it. Like the apes, they could jump like 10 to 15 feet into the air, or they could just grab a human and just sling them like 15 feet away and stuff like that. Like they did a great job with that. Okay, and then we got the second reboot, which is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. And these reboots aren't exactly remakes, but they do show some. They do somewhat have their throwbacks to the original source material. The original, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes follows this scientist who's trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And inadvertently through experimentation, this chimp ends up being born with it, with that cure in his body.
You'll see a couple of
that's like the little Easter eggs.
Yeah, like Bright Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that in the old first one. I noticed that.
Who's Bright Eyes?
Bright Eyes.
Oh, that's what she called him.
Yeah. And
okay.
Then Bright Eyes, and this one was the chimp.
Yeah. So the chimp's name's Caesar. And, due to that experimentation, he's smarter. And the movie basically is him discovering more about himself and trying to find his way in the world. Also, there's this virus that's also born from that same cure that starts killing humans. And apes are immune to it. So while the apes are getting, while through circumstance, while the apes are getting smarter and grouping together and doing their thing, humans are starting to die because of this pandemic that's going on.
I mean, but before all that, I saw things about in the first one that I did like the love that Caesar was shown with the old man, and
like that whole family dynamic with them. Mm-hmm. that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. You actually, that's thumbs up. It was kind of sad, but kind of because of what happened at the end, where it's like he's like, come home with me. He's like, nah, I'm gonna jump and chill with the apes.
He's really chill with the apes.
But there's that. That's how the movie pretty much ends. Caesar makes a lot of friends in this movie.
Yeah.
And then it progresses on to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. By this time, Caesar is in charge of the apes, who actually build a fully functional society. We have the remnants of humanity that did manage to survive that virus,
Mm-hmm.
trying to I mean, they're kind of coexisting, even though it's kind of a very thin line.
Yeah. So now in this one, not only does he have to deal with the humans trying to get to them, he also has to deal with something else.
Koba, who hates humans.
I'm talking about, like, really hates. There was nothing that Caesar could have done or nobody could have done that could change that because of the way he was treated.
And he made a coup, did a coup. So it actually, and his coup inadvertently, directly started a war between humans and apes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened in that movie. And then for the finale, for the third movie of that, War for the Planet of the Apes, which I think is kind of mistitled. But
How was it mistitled?
because it wasn't really like a war. I mean,
no, because what?
I mean, you see, I thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was gonna be like maybe a big battle at the end between the humans and the apes, which that really wasn't the case.
No, it led to them getting captured for like half of the movie, and they had to figure out. They had to come together again because all that it kind of tore them apart. Like they couldn't trust Caesar no more. And after what happened to his family, which I was like, oh my goodness, I did shed a tear because it was so sad. Woody Harrelson was a dick.
But in this movie, the humans, after the events of what happened in the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, humans are hunting the apes now, and during because of that, they're trying to think how to say it. In war you have casualties, and it just so happens that Caesar's family becomes the casualty. So Caesar breaks off from all the apes and just dips and like, okay, this guy that killed my family, I'm going to go kill him. Mm-hmm. And this leads to his tribe his clan getting captured, and now they have to figure out their way out of that by this guy who's a douchebag. But he kind of had a sound reason. Like what he said made sense. And as a side story, that same virus that wiped out humanity is devolving humans now. So people are actually losing their ability to speak. People are losing their reason. So and I like that because a lot of the things in the original movies that was kind of like, okay, what the hell happened? This movie addressed it.
Yeah.
So now, like we were saying, how did the humans lose their ability to speak? So in this movie, it's the virus that did.
So it wasn't. It could like be on anything and you can get it because it was on a doll that the girl had who they named Nova, another one.
Just think about it. If he had that doll and probably didn't wash his hands, he could have put that down, went and got something to eat, and then would have brought it into his body.
Right. So it couldn't be on anything, and just they could get it.
That's another reason why you said burn all the stuff that them people had. Mm-hmm. So now that we've discussed like the plot for all of these movies, what do you think what do you think about the story itself? Like
We didn't finish it. We didn't finish the war. Did you tell him what happened to Caesar?
He died.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said it like that.
I mean, what you want me to cry about it now? I mean, it was. I was almost crying at the movies. I'm like, man, I done spent 3 movies with this dude. Good God. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was really it was pretty sad. I was like, God, man, this man went through so much.
Right.
But he went out like a soldier. He really did.
Right. Yeah. He like stayed with them until they made it to where they were supposed to go. I like that he didn't die on the way. He didn't die like when they were still trapped or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I did like that.
Mm-hmm. And that movie honestly made humans just like dicks. The only saving grace out that whole movie was that little girl.
Yeah.
She was the only saving grace. But now we'll go ahead and speak. Okay, as far as the stories are concerned, I like most of them. Mm-hmm. Like the first Planet of the Apes was good. The second one would have been better had it not had nothing to do with no mutated humans with psychic powers.
Right.
If there was a humans living under the ground that were like fully functional and stuff, okay, it makes sense. Which, remember what I told you, they was killing people. Like, why?
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, well, why you just didn't recruit the humans that were staying on the surface and then train them to be like your military? Mm-hmm. They are the, like, well, our powers don't work on the apes. I'm like, okay, so why are you steady trying to use your powers? Use something else. And when it comes to your survival, why would you sit there and say, well, we're a peaceful race? And I'm like, well, you about to die. Please tell me you got some kind of contingency plan or something. Mm-hmm. They didn't do nothing. What was it? The one lady took some pills and OD'd?
Yeah.
I was like, that is a crappy way to go out. God. That was a good idea, but I wish they could have tightened up on that a little bit better. The whole conquest of the Planet of the Apes was Cornelius and Zero on Earth. I don't know, because if you think about it, it's a time paradox. Mm-hmm. They brought Caesar to Earth. Caesar led the Apes Revolution when the humans nuked the place. Mm-hmm. And then it goes all the way back to like them being born again 2,000 years later. And then it does it again. The planet gets destroyed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you do. I'm messing with you. I don't think you do. Yeah. But that's an interesting kind of time paradox. So it's like, okay, now that he's done that, will it play out like that again? Will it play out with old dude in space, landing back on a planet? Now, to that credit, I don't think it will, because of what they said in the ending. In the ending, they said humans and apes, under Caesar, they were equal. Mm-hmm. Everybody was at peace. So I don't know. That's just a question of the day. Again, I did like the Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and what was the other one? Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I thought Battle for the Planet of the Apes was pretty cool. Oh no, I said that wrong. Escape from the Planet of the Apes is with Cornelius and Zero.
Yeah.
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is the one where Caesar comes to power, and then Battle for the Planet of the Apes is where they have to fight these mutants, these fake ass mutants. But like,
they shouldn't have had any powers like that anyway.
Mm-hmm. We had the Planet of the Apes. I thought 2001, pretty good story. I actually liked it. The whole time they thought Kalima was this sacred grounds where nobody could touch it or go there and all of that, but it was actually a giant ship. I mean, it looked like it. Like, that was pretty interesting. And then they end up finding out that they said Caesar created the apes, but then they end up finding out that Caesar was an ape that the humans brought there, and it was like, we're the reason why you're here. We're the reason why y'all can talk and all of this stuff. So I thought that was a pretty interesting twist. I thought that was pretty cool. Everybody, I guess, thought that it was going to pull the whole end of the world thing.
Okay, so they sent Caesar to where?
No, they were testing out this. They was in a ship. Mm-hmm. There was a storm cloud in space, and they sent him.
I remember that.
Yeah, they sent him in there to try to gather data, but he got lost. So the guy was like, "All right, I'm gonna go in after him." Mm-hmm. and that's how he crash landed, which was crazy because Caesar ended up coming back at the end of the movie and stopped the war.
Okay.
It was pretty interesting story.
I'm not taking another look at that.
Like I said, and you like the whole visuals and stuff, the whole culture. Remember, I told you I didn't like the old one because all the orangutans wore the same color, all the chimps wore the same color, and all the gorillas wore the same color.
Like it was.
If you was a gorilla, you wore blue and purple. If you were a chimp, you wore green. If you was an orangutan, you wore orange. That was it.
So even though they were pretty much all the same race, they were still separate.
Nah. I mean, they were different species.
I know what you meant. I know what.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
like give me a little.
I started thinking of that part off Planet Apes where the gorilla was like, blue, 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 that one guy was like, she's about to blue, this guy. And then, you got the rise, dawn, and the war. And I want to ask you this. How plausible do you think the reboots feel to tell the story? Like, do they actually feel, like, solid? Like, can you follow it and be like, it makes sense?
I can, the rise, dawn, and war, I can follow that. Anything else after that, no. But yeah, I actually followed them stories, and I'm like, as I was watching them, like I was watching Dawn, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember that, what they was talking about in the first one, and same as in, when we went to see War. I remember from the last two, so yeah, I followed it, I understood, so yeah.
And remember, like, these movies aren't direct remakes, even though they do tie in. They do try to make the tie-ins that make sense. Because remember, and they did have a lot of again Easter eggs and stuff, which we will talk about in the next video. But as far as the story-wise in these movies, I think the movies are decent. If I could rank them, I would say Escape, Conquest, Beneath, Battle, even though I didn't see all of Battle, Battle goes down to number one. Then you got the Planet of the Apes. There's the Planet of the Apes reboot, and then it'd be the new movies. So the new movies be the first, be my top three. Then the Planet of the Apes. It pretty much Planet of the Apes in the order it is. Movies. Out the 5 that you've seen, how would you rate them?
Let's see, the last three. Label the last three as 1 or
1 to 3.
what? They were good. I can't label them like that.
No, I mean all of them, not all of them, because you've only seen 5. Yeah. You've seen part of 1. Say 5. Like, what would you add the original to then? How would you rate them? Would you say the first one was better than the second one? The second one better than the first one?
I like the first one. The first one, and the second one, and then the other 3.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
I'm messing with you.
No,
I'm
you're
messing
not.
with you. But as far as the story of Planet Apes, I think the story is actually a pretty interesting concept. I'm thinking about ripping off of it and making Planet of the Lizards or the Planet of the Frogs or something like that.
That's disgusting.
Planet of the Gorillas.
Really?
Okay, Planet of the Birds, and there'd be like 4 different bird species that's running everything. Or Planet of the Gators, and then do you have the warlike crocodiles, and you have the scientific alligators, and oh hell, let's go ahead and put some Komodo dragons in there.
Wow. Okay.
Oh man. I'm just joshing. Anyways, we done already just run over some of the basic concepts and stories about the movies. But we'll get into much more detail in the second video. Guys, in the comment section below, let us know what did you think about the Planet of the Apes movies. Which one is your favorite out of the old ones as well as the new ones? If you could rank them, let us know in the comment section below what that ranking would be. Also, if there's anything you would like to see them do in the future with the Planet of the Apes franchise, let us know, because we definitely want to talk about that too, which we're probably going to dabble on a little bit on this next video. And please, guys, join us and enjoy yourselves. I always mess up. But anyways, you already know what I'm going to say next. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and notification button to get the best of what we have on this channel. And we will see you guys on the next video. Narik, Chase, and MademB, for now, we are signing out.